So we had some drama after the race. Hayden Deegan was not happy with Star Yamaha. He was not happy with the bike. The team wasn't happy with him. It wasn't good. I'll get into that. And Chance Hymas, holy crap, what a turnaround in 1 week. He went from essentially quitting on the race in Hangtown to going to Colorado and being fast qualifier and leading every lap and winning both motos. And that did not sit well with Hayden Deegan. And there's a rider that got hurt at Hangtown, and I'm disappointed that they're not talking more about him. And we're going to talk about Trevor Colup, and he needs our prayers, man. He's in bad shape. If you haven't tried Nano-Xtreme, what are you waiting for? If you have pain, all of us do. We ride dirt bikes. Try Nano-Xtreme. It also helps with arm pump. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code COOKSY and get free shipping. As racers, we're always looking for that little edge, whether it be the bike, personal performance, but you can give yourself a little bit of an edge by using Coach Rob's Energy Fuel. This is a hydration drink that really works good. I mean, I've never had an energy drink that actually hydrated my body and did as much as Energy Fuel. Give it a try. I think you'll be happy with it. And Coach Rob and I did a long form interview. He's dropping that tomorrow. So if you ever want to know about me and my story, Coach Rob, he got everything. I went down, broke down everything. Good, bad, and the ugly. Strapped Goggles. This is a really cool company, and they got the best shirts. I'm telling you, these are the softest shirts that I've ever worn. They're so comfortable. I love when I get a new box full of them from Chris from Strapped. There's some big stuff on the horizon for Ride Strapped, so check them out. Goggles, glasses, shirts over at ridestrapped.com.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So unfortunately today, I'm going to start with the news that the mainstream moto media won't tell you. And I don't know why they won't share these stories. Well, I do know why. They're a bunch of stupid cowards and they don't clearly understand who we are as racers, and that's why they try and hide this stuff from us. Privateer Trevor Colup came over a jump at Hangtown and happened to have Hunter Yoder's bike just laying there, and he landed on it, had that horrific crash where his femur was twisted around the other direction. And what's even scarier is something happened to his heart. I guess they ripped a heart valve, or he had a hole in his heart valve, and he's had some strokes. And according to the Instagram post that I saw, there's visible brain damage on the MRI, which is awful news, awful news. And I think it's disgusting that they refuse to talk about this stuff. By the way, if anyone has a link to his recovery and where we can donate to help him out, that's a cause I really want to get behind. Instead of the AMA trying to rip us off and make us pay for the donations, I find it disgusting that this sport will try and get you to give money, to support a team. By the way, the motocross donations is in the United States, so it's not going to cost a ton for these teams to compete, but the AMA is still trying to get you to give money to pay for it. Never mind all the money they make off of racers, memberships, and all the other dirty, rotten things they do. But they'd rather promote giving money to the Desnations team than a guy who really, really needs it in Trevor Colup. And it sucks. Like, he came over that jump. Wasn't his fault. There just happened to be a bike lying there. And you guys wonder why I'm so passionate about different, safety things where we put lights on corners. We have experienced flaggers, not just somebody who volunteered for the week. It's because we see so many times these guys take these big crashes and hop right up. We forget that one wrong hit can cost these guys their life or change the rest of their life. The speeds that these guys are going these days, the jumps, they're so big. And the amount of traction with these four strokes and that power getting it to the ground. By the way, we need to limit knobbies because you're never going to get these guys on the same page as far as reducing motors and who's going to cheat, who's going to do this. But what you can do is you can reduce traction. The only a sure way to slow speeds down is to reduce traction. Tracks will hold up better, and I know the guys won't like it at first, but they will adapt, and I think it'll make for better racing, and it will slow things down. You look at NASCAR and any other major sport that has big-time issues, they're constantly looking at safer walls and slowing speeds and doing different things to reduce the speed. You will never make these dangerous motorsports safe. But while the speeds increase and the bikes and the performance and the riders get better, the promoters need to constantly be looking and trying to actively make safety improvements, things that can minimize these catastrophic crashes, maybe make airbags mandatory for all the riders. What have the promoters or the track builders done to increase safety in the last few years? Hardly anything. In Supercross, they brought in the nets around the corner, and that was nice. That's something. I appreciate that. But like where? Like we need more of this stuff. They've got to be forward thinking. They have to protect these riders, protect the product, and just allow for this dream in this sport so we don't have these catastrophic injuries. What Trevor Colup is going through is life-changing. I don't know the extent of the brain damage, but man, that's not good. When you can see it on an MRI, that's going to change his life, his personality. It sucks, man. I hate seeing stuff like this. And they're afraid to talk about it because they're afraid people are going to go, oh my gosh, we're not going to do this sport. Yeah, we still are, but we also want to be there for the guys when they have these life-changing injuries. So if anyone has a fund or anything we can do to help out Trevor Colup, please let me know. I want to promote it, and I want to let him and his family know we are thinking about him. Despite what the promoters do and how they forget him, us fans, we do care, and we care about these people as human beings. So Trevor Colup, man, we are pulling for you. We're sorry that happened. Hopefully they can get a little bit better flagging. I don't know if that would have helped in this particular situation because it happened so fast, but a permanent flagging crew will not hurt safety. Now to the racing in Colorado, and it was good. Chance Hymas answered the bell. This is something I didn't think he had. The way he quit, the way he got kind of bitch slapped by Deegan at Paula, like I did not see him coming out going fast qualifier and 1-1. The way him and Deegan dropped the entire field. I mean, Deegan's bike broke in the first moto and he cruised around for like 3 laps and still maintained second place. Those two guys were absolutely flying. And Deegan wanted that perfect season. You know, it's early and it's only been 4 motos, but he wanted to do something that nobody else has done. And he was clearly, visibly frustrated having to maintain that bike. I think in his heart, he believes if he could ride that bike the way he knows how, Hayden Deegan thought he could catch Hymas, pass him, and he doesn't want that guy. There is no love lost between Chance Hymas and Hayden Deegan. They do not like each other. That is a blood feud at the highest level. And Star Yamaha can say whatever they want. They had an issue. Whatever they did to their bikes at that higher altitude, when you ride them to their full capability, like Hayden Deegan and Michael Mosman was in that first moto, Mosman's bike blew up, Deegan's bike almost blew up. I know they had 2 other guys out there and their bike salvaged it, but Minier and Nate Thrasher were not pushing to the level that Hayden Deegan and Michael Mosman were in that first moto. And I heard after the second moto, there were some very heated conversations between the Deegans and Star Yamaha to the point where Bobby Reagan had to jump in there and kind of mediate the situation. And you could see it because right after that big argument is when Hayden Deegan went to the press conference. And I don't think I've ever seen a more angry or frustrated Hayden Deegan at a press conference.
What happened and how it affected your racing strategy, especially with you still fighting for the win in both motos?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They said like at first they're like it's on you, and then they're like it's not on you. So I don't know what happened. I just lost all my power. Is what it is. And then second moto ended up tipping it over, but whatever, 2-2 on the day, so not bad, and we doubled the points.
And while Hayden wanted to win, he really, really, really didn't want to lose to Chance Hymas. That's the one guy. Like if somebody else had beat him, if Joe Shimoda or somebody, he'd be mad, but not smoking out of his ears mad that he was at that press conference. He does not like Chance Hymas. You can even see in the body language, he won't even sit near him. He's got his elbow up to kind of protect away from him. Like, I think he would fight Chance Hymas at any second if he didn't get in trouble. That's how he feels about Chance Hymas. And to get beat by him, that stung. And to think in his mind, if he could just ride the bike the way that he wanted to, he could have won, that stung even worse. But you can't take anything away from Chance Hymas. He rode out of his mind in Colorado. I didn't think he had that in him. I really didn't think he had that in him in the last 10 minutes. And that's where Deegan does his best work. But Hymas was able to go with him. Was that because the bike was fading? I think Deegan thinks so, but I'm not sure. Deegan had to push that thing harder than he has. He pushed harder than he has in the first 4 motos, and it showed. And that poor bike. But I don't think these are going to be issues at any other track. Maybe Southwick and that sand, but whatever motor change they did at that high altitude to get more power out of it, they sacrificed the reliability, and it showed in both Michael Mosman and Hayden Deegan. And Deegan knows, while he dislikes Hymas, he also knows this kid is talented. He rides really smooth. And on these tracks like Colorado, the next round in High Point, where they kind of have these off-camber turns, it's a little bit more hard-packed, it caters to Chance Hymas' riding style. Deegan is going to have to ride the wheels off that thing. He's got a real competitor in Chance Hymas. The thing that you've got to watch on Deegan is he going to push hard enough to do something stupid and let these guys back in points-wise? Because points-wise, he's got a giant lead. He's got, I think, 24 or 25 points over Joe Shimoda and like 49 points over Chance Hymas. So he's clear out there in the championship. but it is so early. He's not going to start giving up wins and going into championship mode yet. And it does actually take a little bit of pressure off of Hayden Deegan now that there is no undefeated season. It's not this huge deal whether he just wins one moto. It's about winning overalls and taking home the championship now, which I do believe he will do. But if they can put a bike underneath Hayden Deegan that he can ride with no fear of blowing that thing up, because in that second moto, he probably wanted to push that thing harder, but in the back of your mind, when you're leading the championship, you can't risk blowing the bike up going for one moto win. You just can't do that. But like any major sports, you see coaches argue with star players. It is not a big deal with what happened with star Yamaha and Hayden Deegan. That's just everybody wanting to do their job and wanting to win. And when you don't get it done and you get beat by a guy like Hymas that they feel like they're better than, it's frustrating. And yeah, tempers will flare, but it'll be all gone if he wins the next round. It's crazy how winning makes all these relationships better. And when we have a blood feud like we do with Hymas and Hayden Deegan, man, it's so much more exciting. It really is. When you see guys who are battling that hard, riding that good, and you know deep down they despise each other, I don't know why, but it just makes it more exciting. It makes it matter a little bit more. If you're shipping anything, I'm telling you, use Precision Transport. This is a shipping company that truly believes in customer service, reasonable pricing, and they will get you dialed in. If you got a company and you're wanting to get a shipping solution that really you're tired of the guys jerking you around, head over to pretransport.com and let the Madden family see what they can do for you. Alias MX gear, the 2026 stuff dropping soon. And if you still ride road bikes or train out there and you need some bicycle gear, they have some of that in stock, but the new stuff coming around, it's probably a week or two out. I will let you know exactly when it drops. Head over to Alias MX and check out some high quality motocross gear. Man, I've been having so much fun riding this electric motorcycle. The new Power Sports XQi3 is just, it's more fun than you should be allowed to have on a dirt bike. And I know it's not like going to the track and riding motocross, but I can just cut across fields, hit jumps, ride right out of my garage. And I'm going to give one of these to you guys. So a member will get one of these in the end of December. Check out new Power Sports and their XQi3. Levi Kitchen. Hey, the kitchen's looking decent out there. I don't know about that hairdo, holy moly, but hey, you got to let the kid be who he is, and if he wants to do funky stuff with his hair, go for it. But he is building himself back into shape, and that crash he had in Daytona was nasty. And you see, like with what happened to Trevor Colup, we're talking inches. That easily could have been something that happened to Levi Kitchen after that crash in Daytona. So it takes a while to recover from the injuries, get the mindset where you're willing to go to that edge like he was. But he's doing exactly what he needs to do to rebuild himself and get right back in there. And I think when they get to SMX, you might see a different Levi Kitchen. You might see a guy ready to battle. Deegan's won, both SMX championships. Can he win 3 in a row? That's tough. These guys, that's going to be their last crack at him in any sort of an outdoor, type of a track. Because next year, Deegan will be on a 450. So if these 250 guys want to end that streak, they only get a couple more attempts. So Levi Kitchen doing exactly what he needs to and building himself back into the elite racer that we saw last year. How about that ride in the first moto for Utah's own Garrett Marchbanks, charging through the field? He looks so big on that 250, and I thought he would struggle at altitude. The guy can ride. I don't know what happened to him in the second moto. He was down out of the points, clearly had some sort of an issue. But man, what a ride in that first moto. He almost got Deegan at the end. I know Deegan was having bike problems, but wow. For Marchbanks to ride that good, giving up 40 pounds to all these guys, that's impressive. I've said it and I'll say it again. I can't wait to see what he can do on a 450. And we've got our Supercross champion, 2-time Supercross champion in Tom Vial. I really expected more out of him than 6.5 moto finishes. That is not what you expect out of a 2-time world champion and 2-time Supercross champion who they thought he might struggle with Supercross when he got over here. He's actually struggling with the Outdoor Nationals. He's better than what he's showing, and I don't understand what's going on with him. I don't know if he's got a Supercross hangover. I don't know if the tracks in the United States are frustrating him. I don't know if it's the lack of practice time like they have in the GPs. Something's not working for Tom Vial, but I hope he figures it out. We know he'll be good at Southwick. He's really fast there. He's really fast at Unadilla. He has got to show something at some of those tracks before this year's over. I think he's pretty much out of the title fight. But since he's moving to the 450 next year, you don't want to really move to the 450 on such a down note. And how about Casey Cochran still battling up front? I'm telling you, keep your eye on Casey Cochran. This is a special talent who's rebuilding himself from a horrendous injury and doing much better than I thought he would do considering the injury that he had. This kid's tough as nails, and that's 2 weeks in a row he's been battling up front. I think he's getting more comfortable being an up front guy. I think you're going to see him making a run at a podium before the year's over. And Star Yamaha would have had 2 guys up there, but like Deegan, Mosman's bike exploded in that first moto. His went way earlier. So you can't blame Deegan for the way he's riding, because I know Mosman doesn't ring it out like Deegan does, and his bike blew up a lot faster than Hayden's did. So while Star Yamaha can blame Deegan for revving it, they clearly had an issue out there. And I want to give some love to my buddy Dennis Brown. He's got his nephew out there racing, number 99, Brock Bennett. And he is consistently making the show and running and battling for points. He scored points last year in some races, which is how he got the number 99. But this year, man, that top 21 to get into points in these races is tough. But Brock is so close. I think he missed it by 1 position. I think he got 22nd in a moto. But nice to see Brock Bennett quietly getting much better out there in outdoors. He's going to score some points, and I think he's going to have a lower number than 99 next year. So they go to a similar track in High Point to where it's built on the side of a mountain. It's got a lot of off cambers. Can Deegan step up? That's not his best track. Last year, Ty Masterpool, remember he had that triumphant win and beat Deegan. So it's not exactly the place where Deegan wants to be going to when he needs redemption. But after that, they get a week off, and then they come out swinging. I believe it's Southwick after that. So Deegan, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid and give away a moto, which you never know. He's young. He's got an ego. He does not like getting beat by Chance Hymas in particular. So I'll be watching close at High Point to see how Hayden Deegan can rebound. Nothing like a win to just erase all that negativity. So yeah, 1 win, everybody at that team will be hugging and kissing again. So Bamazy, Brandon Mays, is out there just spitting bars and really putting out some music and calling some people out. If you haven't checked out Mazy's music, head over to Instagram. This is a guy who battled with some of the sport's greats as an amateur. He had some injuries, didn't make it pro, but I mean, this dude was sponsored. He had a Red Bull helmet. He was pretty legit. And he is tired of seeing riders and the dream being exploited, and he's making it known with his music. Thank you, members. One of you guys will get an Energy Fuel bundle this month from Coach Rob. I really appreciate your support. You guys make it possible for me to come on here and share my opinion. So thank you, members. Here's your member of the day.